This is Focus. For those of you who don't know me, I was a newspaper writer 18 and a half years. I was a freelance writer professionally since 1985. The last couple of years, I'm starting to get a writer's block. The ideas weren't coming, or they were not feeling good to me. I wasn't able to write much, and what I wrote I wasn't happy about. Started noticing, and also, preface, I was one of the last persons to come to smartphones. A bit of a technophobe. Not so much, if you give it to me, I can learn it. I just don't know until you teach me how to use it. I feel like I'm wasting it. But started figuring out, okay, I've got to do something to get the creativity flowing. I've got to figure out how to channel the energy I have, because I wasn't finding a way. Being married to a photographer, I could see photography could be a way, but I'm not a photographer. I'm not assuming I have this incredible amount of skill and then if I pick up something, boom, I can do it. I know, with all those I like, I know photographers, and I know it takes a lot of skill, a lot of work, a lot of time. Part of realizing what type of photography I like is very realistic. And I figured I could do the very basic, because that's kind of how I like to depict things. I started using my cell phone just a couple times, seeing if I could, I was going to say focus it, but that's where you start thinking. I'm not focusing. I'm not focusing with this. This is autofocus. I can frame it, I can close in on something, but I'm not focusing. But to me, that was close enough to focusing. So I started taking a few photos. And I started enjoying it. I started noticing my mind was working again. I was looking at things differently. And what helped partly was, and this all starts, and this takes me into the tangent I'll explain in a moment, but because I had some major medical situations, I was ending up, as part of my recovery, walking was helping it. For me, walking is walking my dog, our dog, Harold. And well, I'm 6'3", and when you're standing here, you get a certain perspective on things. I had a brother 6'7", so I was used to not only being this tall, but looking up. You're walking a dog, Harold is about this tall, so you're used to looking down. You're used to seeing where he's going, what he's sniffing, how he's reacting to things. And as I began walking, one of the first things I noticed, we live on the west side of the village, one of the first things I noticed is, in our neighborhood, the older parts of it, the older parts of the other neighborhood, the old paving has these very old, square, rectangular, other shape, paving squares, paving signs. It was one way that a company could advertise their work. You would have Excelsior paving, Northampton, family names. There are a lot of German names. And they're coming from a part of the city that was close to Kaisertown or center of Kaisertown, so it was natural. But I started, and then some of them were like scrolls. Some were Maltese crosses, and all different shapes and years. And it was a combination of, you don't see this a lot, and it was very basic. What was there was there. Maybe it was a combination of I couldn't screw it up, or I could depict it very well within my skill range. And it really struck me as being interesting. So I started taking photos of those. And then other things like it, but that's what really stuck on. That's when I started getting a really, really good response on it. People were fascinated by people who do or have lived in the city. And it's not just the west side, it's North Buffalo, East side. And where I walked the dog, we haven't walked the dog to South Buffalo, but I assume they hold the neighborhood the same way. But I was getting a lot of response, and I started taking different photos like that. And I started noticing something with that and other photography. That first of all, I was getting this certain energy back. I also noticed, and this was a little strange to me, I was doing a lot better at taking photos of and depicting objects. There were very, once in a while, there'd be our dog or other animals in it. There weren't people in it. And I wasn't overly interested in depicting people. I was much more interested in depicting what people had produced, or what they had affected, how they had affected things. I mean, you could take an old sidewalk, and I find some interest in that. You find more interest in it when you show how it's been cracked and partly damaged or what have you, or by humans, or how certain structures have been weathered or left to deteriorate by humans. There's some things that I've taken photos of going down Michigan Avenue toward Seneca. Some old buildings, that probably were row houses of sorts. And you can still see the beauty in the structure. And it's fascinating how it's not, the architecture is not done as much as we do it today. But you also see the decay, and you see both some beauty and some real ugliness. Maybe it's more the thought that's the ugliness behind it. And this is starting to get me going. I'm taking photos of other things. One photo that recently got a lot of, on social media, got a lot of likes was, it was a photo, it was off Symphony Circle, when you turn going down Porter. And there's a walkway that comes in a bit, and then it leads up to a fence. It looks like, it's very Tolkien-esque, with the way the trees and the growths are, and the way there's little statues, and the way that the gate and the fence is. And it just struck me, and I took a photo, and I was happy that people were getting the same feeling I was off, that it looked like a gate to somewhere else. Now, for all of this, I've been taking a lot more photos. I post them on the social media. I'm on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. But I noticed what I wanted to do with this photography, as well as try to get creative again. I wanted to spark my writing. I wanted to get some ideas flowing. And it hasn't. It really hasn't. I've done some writing. And the quality is uneven. I was in the hospital. I first was in for about 15 days at a certain local hospital, and I don't care the results are. As far as they were concerned, I was sent home without a referral anywhere else. I had a heart attack. I was supposed to have open heart surgery, and when I was on a table, they just happened to find I had an aortic tear. So, in the surgery, they sent me home. They didn't refer me anywhere. I had to ask one of the doctors, I was virtually being shoved out the door, should I check somewhere else? And he basically did one of these. Like, he didn't want anyone to hear him tell me. And he says, why don't you try, and he mentioned 2 hospitals. One was the Cleveland Clinic. So I sent myself to the Cleveland Clinic. And they said, basically, get your ass down here as soon as you can. And when I got there, the words miracle were used at getting there and surviving the surgery, but we're done with that. I'm here, I'm fine. But this I thought this was going to give me a lot of stuff to write. And I started. I tried writing some flat-out, straight autobiographical, totally sticking to the facts. I did it during the day, I did it during the evening, I did it overnight, because I noticed I developed insane insomnia at Buffalo. At the hospital. I slept an hour a night maybe, and I would put the TV on, and after a while I would just put on SportsCenter. I'm a sports fan, not a sports nut, and I got to hear SportsCenter replay 3, 4, 5 times between 10 p.m. and 5 p.m., and I just laid there. So I tried writing overnight. I almost hoped that because I was in that weird punch-drunk, can't sleep state, that something would come out. And between that and getting home, and when I first got home, I also had to gather all my medical records, the electronic and the paper, and get them sent to Cleveland Clinic. But between all that, I was writing more. And I wrote thousands and thousands of words. And I haven't shown anybody it yet, I just don't like it. I tried some fiction. It's really not good. I tried some other stuff, and I saved everything. I've looked at a little bit. I haven't looked at the fiction at all, but it just wasn't coming. Then we went. Then the second thing happened. We went to Cleveland Clinic and found out how serious things were. They did what they had to do. I'm here. I'm feeling really good. But maybe the first time in a long time the focus really came in was when I came home. When I had the heart attack, I was 183 pounds. I know I lived my life on 190, 200. Most I did was 236. A little pudgy. Little beer belly and donuts, and that was during my drinking days. But when I came back, when I was weighed a couple days after I came back, I was weighed 139 pounds. At 6'3", there's no time you should weigh 139 pounds if you're still alive. So we had to figure out a way to get some weight on me. Try to get moving again, but not just start eating crap again. My diet is not great still, it's better than it used to be. But I was able to focus on that. I started, it was for as little as, where I let the dog out. We have a mudroom in the back, so we have a back door. How long it took, I would walk myself out and around the garbage cans, down the end of the driveway and back once. That was 110 steps. I would do that 2-3 times a day as long as I took the dog out. I would then do it twice a day, and 3 times a day. Then I would make myself get on the treadmill for 2 minutes a day, 5 minutes a day, then 5 minutes twice a day, then up to 30 minutes in the morning, 45 minutes in the afternoon, so on and so forth. It's not exciting stuff. I'm not a headphone person, so I didn't have music to listen to. But when you hear words like miracle, and you hear, and what happened? I have something in me that's called a frozen elephant trunk. I'd never heard of it before, mainly because the Cleveland Clinic was the first, and they're one of only 2 places in the world that do it. And they have the highest success rate, which is now up to 80%. Real quickly, it kind of starts where the aorta hits the heart, and it goes around, up and around, and goes and wherever you have the likelihood of having an aneurysm, it goes to. I have a family history of aortic aneurysm. The lower part, so it goes down. Fine. And I used it last year. I talked about my medical history and what happened. And in a way, I don't want to repeat this here. And it opened me up. It started getting me talking about it, but still never got me over that writing level, which I really thought it would. So I eventually tried to turn to what made me help. What my most successful writing, and it's nonfiction, and often autobiographical. I'm very self-referential. I really like myself. I think I'm fascinating. I can remember it better. And it turns out some of the stuff I've done has turned out really good. Some of the small pieces. And I remember talking to my wife Val about it, and she wouldn't tell me what to do, but she would say things like, write what you know. Write what you're at ease with, basically. So I remember the memory. The first story I wrote in a long time that I really liked, it was about my mother teaching me to dance. Now this would be in the early to mid-70s. And just real briefly, I won't go into the whole story because I want you to read it someday. But I was in marching band among other things my freshman year, so 1970. It was the second half would be 1975. And the band dance was coming. And you'd think all of us musicians knew how to dance. No. I mean, come on, this is a very white suburb of Buffalo. Of course we don't know how to dance. We're guys. Well, my mother was willing to teach me to dance. She said, I taught your father to dance, I can teach you to dance. And she did. And my brother was there, my sister was there. My sister turned out being a very, very, very talented dancer and baton twirler and so on and so forth eventually. My brother was more uncoordinated than I was. And tried to be more sarcastic than I think that was the first thing I ever beat him in with sarcasm. But my mother, and obviously it wasn't just dancing she was teaching me. She was teaching me self-confidence and so many other things, blah, blah, blah. But it just, when I started to write it, it came out. And it came out organized, and boom, I wrote it. And I can go back and add a few things now as I, but it was there. And when I got done, it was like, whew. And I read it back, and like, yeah, this feels like it's happening again. And I could see the house we used to live in. It was my parents' first house they lived in from moving out of the west side of Buffalo. They both were born and grew up. My mother was born on her kitchen table of her grandparents' apartment on the west side. That's how west side it was. My grandparents, my father actually made it to the hospital. And they moved there in the 50s after my dad came back from the service and all that stuff. But yeah, it just brought back, and I could see the wood grain paneling and the old wood of the cupboard and my mother's sewing kit that I learned to sew on, that I can still do to this day. And I'm thinking, along with the fact I had a state pension, I think the fact I had all the skill of just making such a catch for my mother. Plus the fact that she had owned a house already was perfect. And she had property. I mean, it was a match made in heaven. And there was another story, and it had kind of along the line to do with this. I wrote, and it came out the same, really good. We had Mr. Pascucci, and this is someone I should write about someday for all of you, but we had Clarence Kent. And the name sounds like he looked like Clarence Kent. 6'4", flood pants, big black tie shoes you could hear coming down the hallway. Always wore a suit, except when he had a. And this I don't know why, because I went to Lancaster. And yes, we were the Redskins, and yes, I could probably say I was offended back then. People wondered why I was offended. We were the marching Redskins. We had a dancing Redskin with a big ass nose and in the traditional clothing. It was horrible. And our sports logo icon was a really Redskin in indigenous American with a big nose and the headdress and so on. And we had the dancing Redskins. It was so embarrassing. Back then, I don't know how I got to be so pressured. I actually questioned it back then. I just didn't know why people couldn't see how embarrassing and insulting this was. I mean, I once asked, I think it was like to the band leaders and the cheerleaders, well, if Native Americans are horrified by this, why do you never see any of them at our games? Why do you never see them doing this? But our band leader had a big old, you remember from the Music Man, the uniform, it was in a dark, almost navy blue. He was so serious about this. Now you could make fun of him for the uniform, but this guy, he loved what he did, and he really wanted you to learn music. He wanted you to enjoy music. Ideally, he wanted you to enjoy music as much as he did. If you enjoyed it as a quarter as much as he did, he had succeeded. So there'd be joking about it, but he loved what he did, and he got it across to us. There is no question. So that piece, I described him a bit, and more or less a lesson, and it just came out as. So it's probably something I've got to focus more on doing some of that. I tried a fiction piece, and it's where focus didn't work. Because you start writing it, and you're a few thousand words in, and you're trying to figure out where the characters are going, and you really haven't even established where they've been. And you're going, and you start throwing details in. And details alone aren't telling you about who the character is. They're just like signposts, accoutrements, and so I put that aside. And I don't know if I would ever go back to that. I used to write for publications about music. I did interviews, I did reviews of musical releases, of live shows, and so on and so forth. I wrote for one publication, I have to think about that, almost 16, 17 years. And I wrote for others, I don't know, Art Voice was one I wrote for years, and others. But I don't have that, but slowly but surely you started getting away from it. But publications, when there were several, there barely are now, they didn't want you writing for the other one if you wrote for them. And I was writing for several because I knew everybody. You kind of knew everybody back then. Plus, if you wanted to make any money, you got to have to try to write for several, and even then, you barely be able to pay for a new typewriter before we even had computers. But the focus part is, when the world of blogging and websites started, for some writers, that was supposed to be this dream. It was amazing. You could start your own you could hold your own deadlines. You're only responsible to yourself. Bullshit. You don't follow your own deadlines too often. If you don't have it done today, I'll get it done tomorrow. I'll get it done next week. I'll put that one away till next month. Well, I didn't get to do this interview, I'll do that interview. And it's easy to do. And the rest of the world doesn't stop. You still have your mortgage payments, you still have your job, you still have your other responsibilities. If you're lucky, you have a lovelier life. And that part I let slide, and I'm finding out. I brought this. The news, first of all, when I worked for newspapers, that was the perfect structure. Regular publication. I worked for weeklies as a reporter, as an editor, and as newsroom director, which was the management position. It was basically an assistant managing director to basically do all the shit work plus you're responsible. But the AP style book made it easy for writers, not easy, easier for writers to organize things. And virtually, the more you think about it, if you're a journal newspaper, it organized your life. Not for the better always, but it gave you ways to do things. It helped you build structure, and it did kind of help you separate the writers from the non-writers. The AP style book will not make you a good newspaper person. It can help you make you a better one. But if you can't follow it, and there's a certain structure that you really should, it helps the weekly chapters are separated very quick. One thing it has had me do, and has me in argument with other writers, there's the great argument of commas and the word and after that. I'm an AP style guy. You don't put a comma before and. There are other people who hold it just as strongly, and I know there's one in here. I'm not looking here as I say this. And it's funny, this is a serious discussion topic. There are books like this, there are books of other styles that are, you get a bunch of writers together, this becomes a topic of discussion. And I've entered online discussions, and I've stopped doing this where I'm participating. Nobody wins. And that probably would be a story in itself that other writers only would read. But the focus part of it, I was able to focus on getting better. Or at least I think so, or I thought so. The heart attack, this is for a timeline, the heart attack was in October 2017, the surgery is November 2017. They gave me, if I had listened or if I kept remembering, they said, this is basically an 18 month, 2 year recovery period. I know they said that. I went back to work 3 months after my heart attack, 2 months after my surgery. I was able to do a job. I was up, although the first day back I did pass out because I didn't drink, I wasn't hydrated. And it wasn't because I couldn't have done it. I had water, I had my sports drink, and I didn't drink that. I was trying to do everything right job-wise, and I did, so I didn't drink. So I had to bend down to pick something up. I stood up. Next thing I knew, there were the EMTs there. As I fell down, I had my head on the side of the desk. I had some stitches here. Went back Monday. It happened on Thursday afternoon. I went back Monday. And back ever since. I do get tired a little quicker. I can't say I'm falling asleep after dinner because of this. I'm falling asleep more because of this. I started, but I know there's that extra fatigue that I don't want to admit is there. And I'm not addressing it. I still try to stay up late. I do way more than I should. Part of it is, I'm hoping that writing thing will happen. And part of it is, and this is going to sound so stupid, I want to stay up because I want to be able to spend some time with my wife. But I'm not. I'm falling asleep next to her. And there are times she's talking to me, and there are times she's pushing me away, and there's times the dog is looking at me and it's like, yo, I'm staying awake, why don't you? And it's not affecting me at work, though. I'm getting everything done, and I'm helping train people, even though that's above my job grade. So it's other things I've got to focus on. And yeah, it's something, it's like I know it was inherent to me as a writer, as an editor. Focus, you have to keep it moving in a sense. If you just keep it focused on one thing, then there are other things. I mean, life is not just one. You can't be tunnel vision. So I've got to keep, if you think about it, even snipers will change their focus. There's more than one target out there. I'm not a sniper, but there's some truth to that. So, and something is, when you find success, when you do that, you've got to take it elsewhere. And I'm one of those who's focusing and success runs in with another old part of me that every now and then rears its ugly head. It is an insane amount of a lack of self-confidence. And it goes back, and I know it goes back to high school where I was kidding about with, and I know my mother was trying to, when she was teaching me to dance, was trying to teach me also to do things in public in front of people, and God forbid, to interact with other girls back in high school. I was so insanely, deathly afraid to ask a girl out on a date. Amazingly. I couldn't do it for the most part. I was asked to my junior prom, my senior, my God, my senior prom, I finally got the courage up. I got turned down twice. So boy, don't, please. Yeah, I'm glad these people did it. In the end, they don't know what they missed out on. But I was deathly afraid of things I didn't have control over. Even though I could control asking them, I couldn't control the answer. But one thing it did help me do is because I was able to focus. I hated public speaking back then for a while also. I totally overcame that. I could talk too much in public. I did some radio in college and so on. I love doing that. I love doing this. It's something I do. Even though I can't control your reaction, that doesn't control what I do. I can control what I present, and I can try to focus on that. I hope I know the audience well. Well, I say I hope I know the audience well enough. I know what I'm presenting, and I know